Good morning. When I was 11 or 12, I collected comic books. And right about that time, I read a comic book, a what-if issue, about Batman. Batman was already 55 years old, but he was still wearing his cape and his cowl. He was on top of a building, it was evening and it was raining. And he wasn't chasing criminals. He was having a conversation with a man in a suit. So there they were, the masked crusader, talking to a man in a suit in the rain. And they had a conversation that I will never forget. The man in the suit told Batman, "Your day is done. The day of the vigilante is over." And he said, "We live in a complex world with big problems that only men in power can solve." That stuck with me. We live in a complex world with big problems that only men in power can solve. And that day I realized something. I didn't want to be Batman anymore. I wanted to be Robin. Batman was talking to Robin in a suit, who by then was already a public official. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, hindi pwede yung ginagawa ni Batman. And I was only 11. When I was 16, I encountered the weekly column of Randy David. And that got me hooked. I said to myself, the value of an inside job is inestimable. Kung magsilbi tayo galing sa loob. And so that got me to thinking about politics. I was 17 when I made the decision that I wanted to run for public office when the time came. When I finished college at age 21, shortly after I moved to Iloilo, I was the only one in my family who moved to Iloilo by then. And for the next 7 years, I tried to build a name. I joined different civic groups, led some of them, joined different activities, and was active in the social life of the city. By 2010, I was ready. I ran as an independent candidate for city councilor in Iloilo. And one of my posters, which I think helped me in the campaign, bore a picture of me standing, and it had text on my shirt. There was no party, there was no statement saying I was running for city councilor. It simply said, "Sino si Jason Gonzales?" And it attracted children. Because when I went to the barangays, and I'd go to the slum areas, little kids would encounter me, and then their eyes would light up, recognizing my face from the poster, and run to their moms and say, "Nanay, nanay, si Jason Gonzales." And so the question started rolling, who is Jason Gonzales? And I think that helped a lot. Because to this day, I'm already out of the city, but when I encounter people, they still bring it up. I still remember your poster. I served for 2 terms in the city council. I resigned last year to run for municipal mayor in our hometown. And I'll share with you today the few lessons that I've learned in my long experience as municipal mayor. I've been municipal mayor for 4 months. I appreciated what Doc Alex was sharing earlier, that all our theories don't matter much if we can't bring them down, if we can't make them real. I want to share with you in the next few minutes, and this is going to be a very short presentation, only 15 slides, and most of them are photos. I want to share with you my experience and my plan for my town. When I started office, I wanted to figure out immediately, and I had started the process way before that, what do the people value? We cannot project or imagine visions without values. What do the people care about? Immediately after winning, I went around the different barangays. We have 73. It's a mountainous area covering around 40,000 hectares. And the people responded cheerfully because it was the first time in their experience that a mayor who had just won would go around from one barangay to the other to attend their barangay assemblies and ask them quite simply, what is important to you? From this simple gesture of going around and asking about, I figured out two things. And these two things are also important to me today. Mine is an agri-based municipality. We have a lot of farmers. 8,000 of them, to be precise. And so the vision that emerged from these travels, number one, I wanted to create a middle class of farmers. That's very clear. I want to prove to every farmer in my town na kaya mo magpaaral ng anak hanggat sa kolehiyo sa pamamaraan lang ng pagsasaka mo. Second, we have 54 public schools. And when I started campaigning, I kept telling teacher audiences that I wanted to create the best public school system in the country at the municipal level. And that meant only one thing. If you want to have the best schools, you have to have the best teachers. So these are the two visions that I pushed for. The middle class of farmers and the best public schools in the country. This is our ad. Champion Farmers Program. I'll share with you first something that I read a long time ago. All business problems are really people problems. If you have a marketing problem, I dare you to imagine that your marketing problem is actually a people problem. Perhaps your marketing team is so stuck up in the past or holding on to an old vision or a marketing campaign that they couldn't let go of. If you have a sales problem in your company, that is a people problem. Now, if this is true in the corporate sector, it is truer in the public sphere, especially for LGUs. All our problems are people problems. Now, when I reviewed the budget of the municipality for the 3 previous years, I noticed that it kept on spending for the same things again and again, year after year. Pero kung titingnan nyo yung buhay ng mga tao, hindi nagbago. Bakit? Most of their planning processes, they focused on outputs. How many seminars were delivered? How many bags of fertilizer were delivered? But it didn't focus on outcomes. How many lives were changed? And when we talk about outcomes, we're talking about people. So I decided that all my programs will be people-oriented. So if you read the little write-up that we have for our flagship program, it simply reads, the Champion Farmer Program is a 6-month formation and technical skills or technical training program. It seeks to build key habits in our farmers, as well as nurture a mindset of abundance and bayanihan. And in so doing, we raise yields and we raise farmer incomes. Yung focus, tao. I will not discuss with you the indicators that we have set forth for this, but it gives you an idea of what we're gunning for. It says under the title, a champion farmer understands that the task of a farmer is not to plant, but to build soil. When a farmer begins to understand that, it changes everything. Ang misyon ng magsasaka, hindi magtanim, kung hindi magpataba ng lupa. And I'm excited about this. Just 2 weeks ago, we held our first Champion Farmers Orientation, almost 400 farmers came. And it was purely voluntary. Sinabi namin before the program and with the invitation, hindi po kami magpapakain. Kasi sanay po sa bayan namin na lahat ng pagtitipon-tipon, may pagkain. Kaya malalaki yung audiences kasi may tanghalian o may merienda. In this case, they all left the orientation na walang nagrereklamo. Alam nila to begin with na walang merienda. Now, the next one, this is the clicker. Akala ko nag-load siya all by itself. The next one is called Teachers for Lambunao. Before I move here, I just want to say one last thing. In the next 3 years, we will build an army of farmers. Farmers who can plant anything. When I reviewed yung DA budget, region, province, and even at the municipal level, most of the trainings focused on specific skills. Cacao farming, coffee farming. Not recognizing that just like mathematics, in farming you have to build core competencies. In math, you cannot proceed to algebra without knowing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In farming, it's the same thing. And at the end of the process, at the end of the 6-month mentoring program, what we hope to instill in our farmers is a deep love for the land. Now, what we will do for our farmers, and at the end of 3 years, 1,000 champion farmers. An army of farmers who can plant anything, who can grow anything. And what we have guaranteed for them is a guaranteed market. Because we will have an office that will connect with all the resorts, restaurants, and hotels, not only in Iloilo City, because we are only an hour away from the city, but with Boracay, which is only 4 hours away by car from my town. We have assured them of a guaranteed market, and all they have to do is plant. But before we can do that, we have to be assured of their competencies and their commitment. Now, what we will do for the farmers, we will do for the teachers. Our municipality has 54 public schools and more than 600 public school teachers. What we will be doing with them is a long-term mentoring program that again will focus on key habits. If you look at the right side, a champion teacher is creative, critical, reflective, communicative, collaborative, and caring. What we seek to do is to have a learning journey with them that will last 3 years. Now, we have modules for each of those that seek to build those habits in them or those competencies. And in the same way, if you notice, with the first one and the second one, we have quantified our programs. What do I mean by that? We have created avenues so that people can help. Right now, we are selling our programs to our closest stakeholders, most of them OFWs. Lambunao has one of the largest OFW populations in the province of Iloilo, if you compare it town by town. And again, we have chosen to focus on people. Now, when I say I focus on people, the first thing that I did when I sat as mayor was to build my team. And I have to tell you, it's very hard to attract top talent for a municipality that's in the mountains. If you're a mayor somewhere in Metro Manila, it's easy to attract top talent from Ateneo, Lasal, UP. But in my town, how do you do it? Believe it or not, I sent out the ad through Facebook. And the invitation was structured strategically to attract exactly the kind of people that I want. And I said in my ad, I'm looking for people who are not looking for jobs. I'm looking for people who will look at this work as mission. Give me 3 years of your life, and we will change the lives of the people in Lambunao. And it attracted exactly the kind of people that I want. These are just 3 of my team members. I have a team of 7 people right now, and I'm proud of them. If God made the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th, my team works harder. They'd have finished the job in 4 days. Look at them. The one to the left is Naira. She used to be an area manager of Save the Children Foundation. She used to earn a lot of money. And today, what she earns in Lambunao, working as an executive assistant for me, is just a pittance of what she earned in the past. Ariel is finishing his master's in UPLB, medical entomology, but he also has a degree in public health. And the last one is Ems, also from UP, who used to be a manager for Transcom, the BPO. What she earns from my town used to be her transportation and representation allowance as a manager at Transcom. What's the point that I'm making? Get the best people that you can. But inspire them. These people work until evenings on some days. They work weekends. We do trainings for teachers, for farmers. Right now, I have an IT team. 2 very good guys. We didn't have to purchase software in order to automate the different functions in the municipality, which we will accomplish in the next year or so. But they're armed with a sense of mission. And if you can do this with a top team, there are so many things that you can do. And I cannot stress this enough. And I share this with fellow mayors, that it's true that you are only as good as your team. Now, when I spoke about focusing on people, we need to expand the net a little wider. I wanted to gather the largest congregation of Lambunaonons who would help the town. Knowing that we have a large OFW community, we organized the Nurses for Lambunao International. Ang NFLI, if you notice that name, it's not Nurses from Lambunao, but it's Nurses for Lambunao. We had a very good formation process in coming up with this and had our first General Assembly just 3 weeks ago. Right now, the Facebook page of Lambunaonons who are enrolled in NFLI have 400 members. Again, with a clear manifesto and a clear direction. From my end as mayor, we have a lot of programs that cannot be funded purely out of the pockets of the municipality. They are my pockets. The key here is trust. It's the most important currency that we have. That if you have an organization that people can trust, believe me, they will give. And what we have accomplished and what we'll accomplish further in the future are quantified projects. What do I mean by that? For $100, you can feed a child for 30 days with hot meals. Now, how difficult is that to understand? It's very important for LGUs to think in that way. Quantify your programs. Create avenues so that other people can participate. There's a lot of resources out there, but not enough places to give them to. Now, the next part is something I'm very excited about. I want you to check this out. Exciting, di ba? I'll read it for you. Medyo malabo. Hindi ko din mabasa eh. This is page 1 of a 7-page questionnaire. It gathers data about the social profile, socioeconomic data, agriculture data, household data, family data. One of my executive assistants used to work for one of the largest market research firms in the country. Part of the questionnaire is drawn from that. The operation is now ongoing. In the next 6 months, our town will have the most complete information on every household in our municipality. Check this out. we have 15,000 households, and each of them is mapped using GPS on the software that my people have built. Each one of them, if you click on the number or you type it in the search function, you type in Roberto Lopez, and Roberto Lopez comes out. It points you which house on the map, where, and complete social, economic, geographic profiling. We will complete this in the next 6 months. And we didn't have to buy the software because we built it ourselves. If good science is good observation, good decision-making happens through good data. Later on, all our programs and projects will be guided by the data that we will collect. We know who are hungry and where. It also points out who are the people living in danger zones. We have different legends. This is live, by the way. If you look at it, each house has a number, and it corresponds to a family. And this is just an example of the data that we collect. So if you click on additional buttons, it will reveal all of the other data that we collect. The building materials for the houses, the names of the families. If you look at this, you will know who live in the danger zones, who are prone to landslides, which areas are prone to flooding. Good data equals good decision making. Now, I want to share with you 2 other flagship programs that we have, other than the first 2 that I've mentioned, which focused on people. When I first sat as mayor, one of the things that I did was collect all the available baseline data in my town. And it was incomplete, way incomplete. But one of the things that we found out is that we have 3,520 families that don't have access to clean water and clean toilets. Now, the province is handing out sanitary toilets, but when they distribute them to the mountain barangays, there's no water. So what are you going to do with a latrine if you don't have water? We came up with our own design. It's a compost toilet. And we're going to start to distribute this early next year. And 3,520 homes that don't have them will have them by the end of 3 years. Again, if you notice at the bottom of it, life packages or Lambunao initiatives for ecological sanitation begin at 6,000 pesos. Quantify your program so that you can share it with others. In this case, the compost toilet comes with a biosand filter. If any of you are familiar with what a biosand filter is, it's a water filtration device that has no moving parts. Compared with the traditional filter, there are consumable parts that you have to replace every 6 months or so. In this case, if you maintain it, it practically lasts forever. The next program that we have, and this is the last one in my presentation, it's called Lambunao Play Gardens. One of the challenges that we're facing is malnutrition. We're creating food gardens in all the barangays to help feed the children, but it comes with a playground. So it's called a play garden. It reads there, a playground and a food garden meet. Play facilities are built amidst herb and vegetable beds. We build sanctuaries where children can play. The package starts at 100,000. We've already gotten at least 7 commitments for 7 play gardens. We were one of the participants in the recent Angat Buhay Summit of the Office of the Vice President. And from that single event alone, we were able to get 7 partners. I'm meeting some of them right after this conference. The private sector provides the money for the playground. The LGU provides the planting materials. The barangay provides the labor. and the community maintains the whole thing. Before the 3 years are up, we will build 73 play gardens in all our barangays in the town. Now, I want to end with a very simple planning framework that I draw from my experience. There are many planning frameworks, and many of them are complex. And what I'll share with you is something very, very simple. When you go about planning any activity, any initiative, or any program, my starting point is always purpose. You have to be very rabid about it, very clear. Why are we doing this? Who is it for? And it's important to share this with the people who will run the program with you. In my experience, when I look at other planning groups, they merely pay it lip service. This is the purpose, and then we move forward. No. Not until every member of your core group can actually talk about it and speak from the heart are you ready to move forward. Next, after purpose, these are the 4 P's of my planning approach. After purpose is people. What do I mean by people? Who will lead the effort? It doesn't just answer the question of who is it for, but it answers the question, who will champion the program? Not until I can find a champion for a program will the program be actually launched. I cannot champion all the programs that I launch, but I find people who will champion it with me. Without the champion, the program will not last. That is my experience. Third is process. Ito po yung madugo. I will not go into the details of this, but I think you have an idea of what I'm talking about. The system has to be there. The structure has to be there. Monitoring, implementation. But it comes third. Only after the purpose is clear and the people are ready. Now, what do you think is the fourth part? If you have identified and clarified your purpose, found your people, and mapped out the processes, the last part is purse. In my experience working in government since 2010, nauuna po yung purse. Magkano yung budget? Ano yung pwede nating gawin? It starts with purse. I was talking to my friend who's part of Gawad Kalinga, national headquarters. And he told me that in the board meetings of Gawad Kalinga, money is the last item in the discussion. They start out with need. Ano yung kailangan? Ano yung kaya nating gawin? Huli yung pera. It may sound naive, but part of it is implicitly trusting that the resources will be there. That after you have solved the first 3 things, the money will come. And this has been my experience. Right now, it's only been 4 months, but my LGU is unable to handle the partners that have been coming in who want to partner with us. Now here comes the concept of absorptive capacity. I have to grow my people. I have to grow my team so that we can absorb more. Trust in that, and the purse will come. Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you.